Good evening, everybody. This is Michael Filighera. I am with logicalsignals.com and tradershelpingtraders.com. And this is the Elliott wave update for the NASDAQ 100 for Monday, October 4th, 2021. Great day for trading today. Let me start there. Beginning with where I left off last night, I had left open the possibility that this minor wave 2 still had some additional upside to put in and would likely rise up and have the possibility of reaching as high as 14,910, which is where, actually it was a little bit higher last night, was where the 200-day moving average would intersect. And that, as you can see, did not happen. In fact, we in globex reached the high at 14,835 and then just started our decline again. And right now we got several components that I was expecting and even stated that we would at several points of strong acceleration to the downside. That basically happened once we opened here in the US, and it tried to get up past that 50-day moving average. First thing this morning was totally unsuccessful, was rejected, and started its slide, and actually broke through several layers, dropped below that previous low from where we had labeled minor wave 1 at 14,537, continued down, breaking below 14,400. And at one point I was thinking, wow, we're going to make it all the way down to next support at that time was at 14,303. So I thought, wow, we're just going to keep on going and be down 400 or 500 points. And that would not have totally been out of context with what really did happen and the reality that I was looking for to take place. I was looking for a pretty strong downside acceleration. And coupled with that, we have that 3 of 3 move. Well, we're just actually, I believe, in the first stages of it. So I think what we're going to go through here is several rounds of downside acceleration. So what I want to build right now is I want to put back in our support and Fibonacci extensions for first the minor third wave, and then I'll layer on top of that the intermediate third wave, and we'll see where we get overlap in these two. And that, again, as we discussed yesterday in the update, that's going to be the most likely points. But let's see if we can update all of that. So first I'm going to put in the minor level. Now let's go down to this low, up to that high, right there. Oh, no, you didn't put it in. Didn't work, did it? Yes, it did. Okay, so I'm just looking at the minor third. We have our next resistance as at 4306 or 14,306, then 14,231, 14,161. Now, ultimately, I feel that wave 3 should, as a minimum, be equal in length to wave 1. And that comes in at 13,976. Now, I also stated, and I will restate, that because wave 3, and being that it's the 3 of 3, I would anticipate that it's going to come in at 1.618 times the length of that first wave, and that first wave being right here. Right? So what I'm comparing it to is minor 3 to minor 1. Now, I want to add the next layer, and that's going to be the intermediate level. So I'm going to go back up here, and that's going to go right there. First mark, second mark. Yeah. Come on. Oh, yeah. Use my mouse or my computer? Maybe both. I'm getting too old. Right there. No, I took it anyway. All right, so this is going to be not totally accurate, but it's going to be close enough. So let's see where we get any overlap. So we have the ones on the inside are the minor, the ones on the outside are the intermediate. So where we kind of get some overlap is down here. We get the first one kind of comes in at just below the low of minor one at 14,493. Well, we exceeded all that today. We now can expect, as on the intermediate level, that we're going to come down to 14,279, 14,147, but then look again. Here again, we got the 100 and the 1.618, where intermediate wave 3 would be 1.618 times the length of intermediate wave 1 at 13,934. So we have the 100% level at 13,976. That would be minor 3. Now, intermediate 3 and minor 3 grouped together in a small little group of resistance or support zone. And that actually goes from 13,976. And I'm going to include it all the way down to 13,003 or 773. So 976 to 773. It's a 200-point range. Now, look, again, we're only looking for the completion point for minor 3. Then we still have to complete that intermediate 3. We would still have a wave 4 and a wave 5, minor 4, minor 5 to complete intermediate wave 3. So where could this all now finish? Our next level, sitting right down here. 130, 13,650, 588, 443. And we continue to have reasonable levels coming off for the size of the wave that I'm looking for. It's an intermediate third. So I'm looking for some strength in this thing to the downside. And again, if the positions were reversed and we were looking for this to the upside, same deal. It's a 3 of 3 move. We're going to get acceleration. This time, it's in the direction of the trend. The trend is down now. So this all fits. If this was reversed and we were looking for this to the upside, we'd be looking for that acceleration to occur on the upside. So I'm bringing all this to light now because it's just too easy to count too quickly, to consider something over too quickly. I'm looking for a minor third wave. Here's minor 1. I mean, seriously, I could probably go 1, 2, we got a 3. I probably could do a 3, 4, and a 5. And I probably could say, okay, it's over there, because I can count 5 waves down. More than likely, when that type thing happens, when you just take another look at comparing the third, which is often the longest and the strongest wave, to the first, which is our Fibonacci relationships come in, and you're looking at wave 1 as being almost 1,000 points. And wave 3 is coming in right now at 500. No, not going to happen. We got to double it. And that's what's going to happen as we come down. That's where it's doubled, right? So it's going to be equal in length. And this is actually where it starts to make sense for it to end. So again, what I think we're going through is the start of the minor third wave. And that will swing down and we will come down and likely maybe hit this at some point. And that'll complete that first wave of minor 3. It also will break into its own 5 waves. So that I think could maybe just be the first. We're going to let the market to continue to tell us. So what happened at the end of the day today is, it was really an incredible little rally. And let me just open that up so you can see it, complete with a doji with tail after tail after tail all the way. Look at all those tails. it truly was a period where we saw, again, at the very end of the day, strong down, strong up, and then this, it went up, came back down, and then went back up. So these almost was a big old flat. But what it ended up being, that's where the fund managers and portfolio people, today's the day that they get new money. And that new money has to be put into the market. It needs to be put to work. They can't just hold on to it. And that's what I think happens when we get towards the first week of a new month. So we had the end of the quarter last Thursday, and October 1st was on a Friday, bounce to the next Monday. That's when the money shifts and starts to hit the funds, the fund managers, and then they put it to work. So that's what I think happened there. And actually just kind of continuing to go through. But as I bring this down to the 15-minute level, from that low, A, B, C. So we can continue to maybe possibly see some follow through. I think we're going to see it during globex, but I would be surprised if globex really starts to keep boosting this higher. Because right now on a 15-minute basis, we got above the 20. Both are kind of moving flat now, 20 and the 8 kind of flat. The 50 is getting flat, the 200s all the way up here. So if they can rally it, maybe get up to that 50-day moving average on a 15-minute chart, yeah, okay. But I don't see this thing running now, just taking back everything that we just did. However, having said that, stranger things have happened. I'm not looking for it. So it would be a surprise to me. Going back out to that hourly chart, I think what I've got going on here, what we got going on here, is that we're going to come down, finish this first wave, put an additional 3 waves up for a small wave 2 of -3. And then once that's complete, unless this actually is the end of -1, and this is going to be the, minute 1 of 3, and this is going to, this actually, it could put it in there. We're getting that 3 waves up now, and it is actually a second wave of this third. So wave 2 of 3 could be right here. Then what happens? Then we literally drop back into the 3 of 3 type of a move again, because it is subdividing. So that's why I think the next one, when it starts, it's going to really start taking us all the way down into these levels. I think we're in store for another 300, 400, 500 down day. Now, having said that, please remember, volatility increases to both directions. When we're getting really steep, then the buyers, when they step back in, are going to push just as hard, because what happens often, consider it like this, we start to get that downside move, we get the acceleration because there are way larger sell orders. But when they're done and the buyers come in to kind of just either cover their shorts or do whatever they need to do, there's now a vacuum's been created. There aren't any sellers. So boom, they got to go to where the orders are to get filled. And that's why we get that increased volatility going in the other direction as well. And then we get the next round. So that factor is going to remain likely until we're all done with this larger third wave. So for tomorrow, we may get some continuation to the upside. Again, on an hourly basis, I would not be looking for it to truly not get too far past, if it can, up to that hourly 20, which is at 14,575. And that's just going to be a small wave 2 inside this whole thing that's going to drop. If it completes it all in globex, as we saw last night, then we're going to look for that same type of a move. And by the time we come in tomorrow morning, we should be down substantially. Otherwise, we're still going to finish this, and then we get to participate from the beginning. In any case, I am looking for continued downside. I am looking for, as a minimum, a break below 14,000. Not too much, because here we have that support at 13,976. Then we have additional at 934 and then 855. But eventually I am looking for this to come down even lower in the 13,000 to like 13,440 to 50. And that's the name of that tool. So I am going to finish up there. Continue to trade smart. Continue to trade using the Fibonacci extensions, using your moving averages. When things start to get going, I can take a quick review of that daily chart today, and we can see what's kind of been taking place and where the moving averages are now. Look at this. The 20 is now coming back down to cross past the 50 again. This is on the daily. It broke it here. It broke the 50 last week, continued lower. We got back above some of the minor little guys, the 4 and the 8, but it was just pure down because there wasn't any, on a daily basis, any support from our moving averages. They had nothing to rest its hat on the way down, and on the way up, they become resistance. So that's a pretty negative picture. Now I can go out one more, because now we're looking at a much larger picture and how it's affected by the move that we are seeing. It broke below the 20, the weekly 20, and closed below it. So the week is not over. Okay, so what really is going to show tremendous weakness is if we get to Friday and it's still way down here. So it's got to close the week, because it's a weekly chart, below the 20. Right now, it's showing that weakness. And so got a little bit of a bounce off of the lows, and we'll see what happens from here. But the weekly is also giving a confirmation to the daily, which gives the confirmation to the hourly that weakness is present. So I would look at these as not the start of a new bull move. They're just retracements. They're just bounces. And that's where I'm going to finish up. And our next update will be on Tuesday, October the 5th.